think you just put on a masterclass.
Oh my God.
On like culture and how you know. I'm serious, because the way you went through that by leading by example, by being willing to accept, oh, that didn't work. You know what? That was our fault. Let's work together. How can we fix this? How can we make this process better? How can we empower you, the employee, to do your job the best of your ability to meet expectations that this company expects to be seen out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
To complete. So you're doing all the right things. That's why I'm saying you just put on a masterclass. So for you people listening out there, like, this is what you do to create culture, right? And if somebody doesn't live up to that, right? And I'm sure it's not like the first time you're like, okay, you're out of here, but you give them a chance, okay, right? There's a certain amount of time. This is what we expect, right? And if it doesn't work out, you have to cut, right?
You do.
Because it's going to infect everybody else.
And you would be surprised on how fast it would turn your culture when you have one person that's not in alignment with the culture. All of a sudden, just things that were not a problem are now a problem. People you have to catch that quick. And the only way that you can do that is to have constant communication with your team.
Out west where the sun always beams bright, Midland skies keep the hustle in sight. BAM Consultants got the blueprint intact. For dreamers on the grind, they got your back. Championing dreams from the ground to supreme, providing that spark, igniting the team. Marketing flow strategies that glean. BAM in Midland, building your dream. They teach the
Bam!
I didn't know I came with a song.
Oh yeah, we do the intro. We do the intro here. So, BAM BizTalk. Welcome, Miss Gabi Borjas.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you're the owner of Tidy Up Professional Cleaning Services.
That I am. I run it with my husband, Junior Billard. So he is the guy that manages all the numbers. And
You're the dreamer.
I am the dreamer.
You know, it takes both.
It does. It's a good partnership. Balances it out. I don't know how I would do it without it.
Right. Because I'm very much a dreamer myself, right? But I'm also, you can't say that because you're an engineer, aren't you?
I am, by background, electrical engineer.
Right. You have to be pretty, like by the numbers, don't you?
It's an interesting story. I would consider myself an odd engineer. My head doesn't quite function like every other engineer. I'm more artistic.
Yeah.
I was brought up that just historically, I've been more inclined to the arts. I'm also from South America, which means that if you talk to other people from South America, they would tell you we have three professions: engineering, lawyers, and doctors.
That's it, right?
That is what people tend to go for. And growing up on the States, we just knew that if we wanted to make a living, we probably wanted to pursue some of the things that would historically we thought would get us there. So I'm an engineering by learning.
Yeah.
But maybe my heart is not in the engineering space.
So you put a lot of hard work in.
I had to.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, my husband is a mechanical engineer. He was just born an engineer.
For it. It's easy for him. He loves
it. It's easy for him.
So we were talking offline a while ago that we share a love for Star Wars.
Yes, my husband and I. And you, not I. Sorry.
And he builds the Lego sets of Star Wars.
Very much more analytical and much more patience than I have. Color coding everything and taking things out of the bag. He is a total child when it comes to it. So we have all the heads. I don't know how many Lego heads they have decided to come up with. And we have some spaceships and Chewbacca that just stands sometimes in my living room that I want to kick out. And he's been wanting some other crazy things. And I'm surprised how expensive these things are.
They are expensive.
I'm in awe of the engineering and
right.
the perfection that these are made of.
Yeah.
So.
But I did, by nature, you're artistic, right? That's, you're the dreamer side, right?
I like to think, more on the soft skills and the people aspect more than hard numbers and formulas.
And that's what it takes when you're building a company. That's what it takes to be the visionary.
Right.
Right. What is this company? Where are we going? What does it look like?
Right.
Right. What are the concepts of this? And then the balance of that is, okay, now let's take a hard look at the numbers.
Yes.
Right. And now it's going like, wow, okay, so how do we make money?
Yes.
You got a problem solving of a business owner.
Right. And I think one of the things I do really appreciate about having the engineering background, it's the critical thinking aspect, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the problem and trying to find a different solution. And sometimes they have to be really creative. So
Right.
that comes from that engineering side.
Yeah.
But I lean heavily on my husband.
For sure. Yeah. No, when you have somebody where it comes naturally,
Right.
that's the best of both worlds. So you are coming up on 3 years.
That's correct.
Everybody give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
That's amazing. That's good.
2025, September 2025 would be our 3 years in business. I'm in awe of how fast time goes. Sometimes it's hard to think that we were just one person, one employee. Now we're coming close to 20.
Wow.
A lot of us.
Wow. Okay.
And sometimes you feel like it's been way too much time. And then sometimes like, oh, it was just yesterday. I don't know. I'm sure there's a word for that phenomenon when there's like a lack of coherence between like time. You feel like it happened yesterday, and sometimes like, oh my gosh, that was so long ago.
So long.
About the same time.
Right. So I have a friend. He's a physicist. He's a cosmetological physicist. And when I went to school at UT, I used to work in the physics department. And so we would have these philosophical, discussions, because at the time I was in engineering. I was an engineering student. I never finished a degree, right? Because I was like, yeah, no. Thermodynamics was too hard. And differential equations, I could barely pronounce it, right? But so we used to have these discussions, and I would swear to him, like, man, time fluctuates. Like reality, time, it's not consistent. And he was like, no, that's the foundation of everything. So we would have these discussions. But yes, the perception time is what fluctuates.
Especially I feel like for business owners, everything happens with such urgency at times that it makes time feels like it's going by quicker just because of the amount of things and tasks you have to perform in such a limited span.
Right.
But then when you look back, you're like, oh my, all the things that we were able to accomplish in such a short time. So I'm in awe of that. So yeah, years.
Yeah, that's employees in 3 years.
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes.
For sure. So why cleaning company? How did that?
Well, everybody asked me this. It's funny. So coming into Midland, I just came 6 years ago, 2019, just to do my engineering job at the oil company I work with. And I was not married. I met my husband in Midland. And when we got married, I'm from Venezuela, and Venezuela has been having a hard political scenario and climate for a long time now. And I had a family member that was just trying to leave the situation. And it's my aunt, and she came seeking asylum to the States. And we realized how difficult it was to find employment in the area that meets a couple requirements, like the part of not having English as like a first language, or not having that skill set. Also, around pay, right? Sometimes it's difficult to get competitive payment. And so those two things really played a part on, okay, what are we going to do? We really want her to come here and succeed as her American experience. And we just don't want to throw her to the wolves. And it wasn't really a Gabi idea. My dad goes, why don't you just open up a company? I said, I don't even know how that would work. So it wasn't like an innate entrepreneurial instinct. It was just like out of necessity to help my aunt. So
your engineering side was like, here's a problem. There was a proposed solution. Let's see if we can figure that out.
Yeah. So my husband and I just started looking at, how to establish companies in the state of Texas and all kinds of permits. Do cleaning needs need a permit? Do they need to pay taxes? Do it need to be registered? All the things. Because one thing that we really understood from being in the United States. I've been here for almost 20 years now. Just the whole foundation of doing things right. So we just said, okay, we're going to do it the right way from the start. And that's what we did. So we researched it all. We founded a company and she started working. And the first, actually, was just my friends, some couple of friends that I had that were giving her the opportunity. I said, hey, my aunt, we just started a cleaning company. Are you interested? So I remember vividly, we had a friend from church, a friend from work, and I think a friend from the gym. And those were our recurring clients. And they just kept telling people. And we were in awe. Shortly thereafter, we had to find helpers for her. Just helpers for her.
Right.
And then after that, she was like, oh, maybe I'll just go seek another opportunity. I'm kind of tired. Cleaning can be very heavy on your body. So she's like, I'm going to go out there and see what other opportunities I can find. So for a little bit, we went without my aunt, but then continued to go with the company because at this point we had several clients. And I was like, okay, we will not just leave these people hanging. So we hire new people. We hire a supervisor. And that by then, I think this was by March of 20. Well, anyways, I don't remember years anymore. But
right. This is going by so fast.
We had about 3 people working. And then she was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not going to work anywhere else. So she came back and we just kept growing from then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a journey. Last year we got Best Cleaning Company of Midland.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah.
I'm not sure where this is gonna air, but if it's after August 17th, we are named Best Cleaning Company 2025.
Awesome. Sweet. 2 years in a row.
Yes, by MRT. So that's been great. And
that's awesome.
What makes us really happy is that it's people that use our service that nominate. So
right. They nominate, they tell their friends.
Yeah.
They say, hey, vote for you.
Yeah. So it's mainly been word of mouth, honestly.
Yeah. So that's your main, how clients come to you.
Historically, that's how it's been. We've been kind of delayed on the catching up with the internet and fine tuning our SEO. Sorry. So we mainly it's just people telling other people. We did invest in the Scout Guide of Midland or West Texas. The second year we were in business, so that's helped tremendously. But that's also a printed book, so that backed up with word of mouth, I think, has been the engine to the clients that we have currently.
Right. I see that you've been doing a lot more of on the social media. You're getting a lot more into the content creation.
We did hire a content creator. Her name is Leah Williams, and she's absolutely amazing. She's with LC Publications, or no, LC. We're gonna just edit her name out. But it's Leah Williams, and she's been bringing some fun, creative things into our Instagram. I will say I suck around cameras. I have that sense of being out there and being goofy is not my instinct. So she's been bringing out some of that. So she plans that for us, and we are happy that people are enjoying the content that you see.
You know, in today's world, right, it works.
Yeah.
And so say somebody, gives you a reference, right? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to go, what's that? Tidy up, clean, right? And then they see you being silly, funny. You're in your, y'all are in your cleaning outfit. You're actually in a place where you're cleaning, and then y'all go into a dance or a sketch or something, and it's entertaining. Right? Everything's video. Video is what works. And when you incorporate that into your regular organic social media, you're affecting your algorithm.
Yes. And another thing that I found, we do all kinds of tests when it comes to managing social media, but it's not a science to anybody that, moving images are far more successful than just still post. And having the people see who is behind the cleaning, right?
Yeah.
Is what has really helped.
Yeah.
I've got people saying like, oh, I saw so and so from your company at HEB. So that like recognition within the community, it's a responsibility whilst you're the lot in the world, but it does bring that level of nearness.
Yes.
Yes.
The in today's tech heavy, right? Our whole world is like on Facebook. It's digital, right? Everything's digital. So when you're able to connect the person, right? Like you said, behind the scenes, the person who's actually cleaning, right? When you're like, oh, that's a real person,
Yes.
you know? Okay. Well, that's what builds trust, you know, because they always see it. Oh, they grocery shopping.
Exactly. I think one of the things that I've found most intriguing about this, that people may is all this. At the beginning, my husband and I say, how much are we going to invest in social media versus in other aspects, right? I would say that your first and second and third priority would be the quality of the service that you provide. Because even if you have all these amazing videos and you have all this production due and people can relate all day long, maybe that will put you, maybe you need to be an influencer, right? Maybe you'll just go that career and you'll do content creator. But if you're a service company in a specific area, say here in Midland, I would say that the biggest priority is concentrate on the product that you offer. Right. Because you don't want to fall short.
Right.
This episode of BAM BizTalk is brought to you by Flash Mobile. Whether you're managing your business, chasing your dreams, or just handling life on the go, Flash Mobile gives you nationwide for GLTE coverage. No contracts and total freedom, all at a price that makes sense. Activate your plan in minutes. Bring your own device. Stay in control wherever life takes you. Contact us and make the switch today. And now let's get back to today's show.
As much as social media plays a huge part on the things that we do now, and that I think everybody should be investing some kind of their budget into social media. I don't think it's the butter of your business.
Right. Like you said, unless you're going to be an influencer, take it that direction. For sure. Service companies, that's the name of it, right?
Yeah.
It's customer service. You have to serve whatever your industry is, you have to be good at it.
Right.
Because that's what people come to you.
Exactly.
You have to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, because they might just come once because they see you on social media, but you're trying to create loyalty in your customers. So your service might speak what you're speaking about in social media.
Right, because you want them to come back.
Right.
And that's what creates your cash flow.
Exactly.
Repeat, rinse, repeat.
Right.
And so that's cool how your story starts looking, solving a problem for your aunt.
Right.
And then it grows 20 employees and now you're doing dances on social media, and then, but not just that, but so you wouldn't be on a new employee, right? That's always a risk, right? Because what if they don't live up to what you've set standards to? Like, how do you, when you hire, what's your process?
Well, it's interesting that I think it speaks volumes about, not speaks volume, but it gives me reassurance about the culture that we're creating internally. It's because a lot of the people that come seeking job opportunities are recommended by people that already work here for us. We've tried Indeed before. It might work for some people. It did not work for us. Yeah, it was, we hired two out of the Indeed. It took us by the filters and all this stuff. And I think they quit within 2 weeks.
Just quit.
They just quit. I think we have very high expectations for a cleaning company.
Good. Yeah.
Not everybody's used to cleaning the same way.
Yeah.
Or maybe being asked as much as we ask. So the good thing is that as of recent, when we need people to come along, we first ask internally, because then they will be a testament on what the culture is. And if they're bringing somebody in, then they probably know
they're fit.
They're fit, yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's their weight that they're going to have to carry, right? We work teams. We implemented bonuses systems based on quality. So say, you and I work at a home and everything goes well, then we both get rewarded for the good job that we did. But if I'm bringing somebody into the team that's probably not going to bring the same amount of quality, then that's going to be a reflection of, a potential bonus that not be earning. So I think understanding what your company culture is first is essential to knowing who your workforce will be, and then being an example of that yourself, right?
Right. Okay. So that was leading to my next question. It was like, how do you set that culture? How do you communicate what the culture is, right? And you you said it yourself, like you model it.
Right. Well, it's funny. Not a lot of people know this, but my husband and I, when we first started the company, my aunt will do some house in the morning, but there were a couple homes that we would just finish work and then we would go clean up to late hours of the night. I remember one specific move out home that it was intense. It took us 2 days. I want to say it was from 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning, just my husband and I for 2 consecutive days. And my aunt was the only employee, but we're not shy to go and do the work ourselves.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we're short staffed on the weekends, I'm out there and the new employees sometimes are like, wait, what? She's cleaning?
Yeah.
We're not telling anybody something that we haven't done ourselves. We're not setting unrealistic expectations. And we do a lot of research to the outside world of other people that are in the same industry and what practices they do, and also internal like gauging, right? So we make sure that the expectations that we set are realistic. Of utmost in our culture list is that people feel welcome, that they feel valued, especially in this industry where cleaning company has not always been seen with eyes of professionalism.
Right.
We try to bring dignity back into the industry. We've had paid courses to our employees to just further their knowledge into chemicals and proper cleaning techniques and things like such, right? So there is ways and products and innovation within the cleaning industry. So I think the culture of the employee feeling valued. We try to stay away from all the sometimes toxic, like we're family kind of, we don't want to do that.
That's turn real quick.
Right. Yeah. But we set clear expectations. We value our employees. We pay them fairly. We are flexible as much as we can. And open communication, I think, is
essential. Yeah.
One of the things that we are not afraid to do is admit when we're wrong. We make mistakes. My husband and I make mistakes. 100%. We are juggling too many things, and sometimes we depend heavily on our team.
Yeah.
And just being humble enough to say, like, I don't have all the answers, and we will figure this out as a team. Through the 3 years, we've implemented things that have not worked. And we just go back to round tables with our employees. We say, okay, what are that? Oh, in this houses, we need to add more time for the job because we don't feel like we could do it at this time. Okay, let's look at historicals. Let's work at new tools that we can implement to make the job faster. Are you feeling safe? All the that.
Oh, yeah, feeling safe. Wow. I didn't even thought about that. But
yes, like huge. Physically safe, like while you're performing your job, and like environmentally safe where you are, right? You're in people's homes. Maybe sometimes you're like in empty spaces. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So back to your question about culture and how do I know that, we're hiring the right people, I think would go back to like having a clear understanding of what our culture is. We want our people to feel valued, to have a dignified job and respectful. I think we've let people go because they just don't carry themselves in the way that we would like our company to be.
Right.
So be portrayed. And that's internally, right? Not even talking to customers. I'm talking about the way that they carry themselves as a team. So
I think you just put on a masterclass.
Oh my God.
On like culture and how I'm serious, because the way you went through that by leading by example, by being willing to accept, that didn't work. You know what? That was our fault, right? Let's work together. How can we fix this? How can we make this process better? How can we make you, the employee, to do the best of your ability to meet expectations that this company expects to be seen out there, right? Mm-hmm. To complete. So you're doing all the right things. That's why I'm saying you just put on a master class. So for you people out there, like, this is what you do to create culture, right? And if somebody doesn't live up to that, right? And I'm sure it's not like the first time you're like, okay, you're out of here, but you give them a chance, okay, right? There's a certain amount of time. This is what we expect, right? And if it doesn't work out, you have to cut. Right?
You do.
Because it's going to infect everybody else.
And you would be surprised on how fast it would turn your culture when you have one person that's not in alignment with the culture. All of a sudden, just things that were not a problem are now a problem. People are, they just, you have to that quick. And the only way that you can do that is to have constant communication with your team. We do those checks like, hey, because my husband and I are not on the day-to-day operations all the time, we still need to gauge our employees. So I said, anything we can do better, anything that is making you uncomfortable, and then following through. I think it's not just posting the question, but if there is a concern, addressing the concern. And with gathering enough answers, understanding if a concern is just with one person, if it's a systematic error that that's affecting the way that you operate. So
right.
So it's from within.
100%. So like this entrepreneur is Brad Jacobs, and when he talks about this, he's like, Steve Jobs had the same thing, right? It's like you hire A people, A players, right? Because as soon as a B player gets in there and they're allowed to stay in, that's going to affect, before you know it, now you have C players.
Right.
And then now your whole culture is less than what you want it to be, right? So the hiring process and then the going through and establishing the culture, if it doesn't fit, got to cut it and keep as much the high quality as possible, right? And something else that he says that you brought up, that so when you communicate, you round table with your employees, and it's like that he proposes, you ask, is like, what are we as a company doing that is not, it's not effective, it's not optimal for us, and can we do as a company to be better? Right. To keep dialogue open. So and then when, like you also mentioned, when you do make a suggestion, that you follow through with it, right? At least put it into heavy consideration. Is this something that we can do as a company, and will it make us better? Yes, that's a great suggestion. Let's implement it. Let's put it into practice. Let's include it as SOP, right? It's part of our system. This is how we operate, right? Because now the employee is like, oh, I can come to my boss with the problem, and she's gonna listen to me, right? Like legitimately, like be open and considerate and hear and listen and be there, be present when I have a problem, right? And
you did how one bad performer could affect the culture. Going back to that, it's not only, like you said, it's like if you let it go too far, then you're making that acceptable within your company. And then anybody would say, but so-and-so.
Right.
And if you knowingly ignored it and passed it along. I remember one cleaner that we had, she was very good. I'm talking about a player when it comes to cleaning. But sometimes the treatment with her teammates became very abrasive.
Right.
And we had to address it multiple times. She's no longer with us, but because it was bringing that down the performance of the other team, right? And then when she exited, you would think, just was a different company.
It's a huge sigh of relief, like
people can breathe there. All of a sudden, everybody's performing better, and it could be at any level, right?
Right.
Because if you're at leadership level and then you're bringing down negativity in the team, or then you're not addressing concerns correctly, it would affect.
Oh, it really does. So interestingly enough, I can't remember where it was either I heard it on a podcast or I was reading a book about it, but they said that there was this one employee that he was a manager and he was getting a lot of complaints, right? And the boss was like, man, this guy's, he's like the A player. Like, if he's not here, this place doesn't function. I just can't fire him. So he would have a talk with him. And he finally figured out, he was like, let's reframe how you communicate with the other team members, right? When you see something, let's play this for the next couple of weeks. When you see something that is you don't like or they're doing it incorrectly, take a pause before you speak. And instead of demanding or saying, do this, do that, right? You ask them a question to figure out where they're at. Maybe they don't understand your instructions, maybe, but instead of barking at them and just saying like very plainly, blah, blah, do that, right? Ask them a question and, hey, do you think maybe like if we did it this way that it would be more productive? Something like that, right? But he said like after those couple weeks that guy was doing that, now the boss was hearing, what did you like, who is that, right? He's completely changed. He's a different person. He's not mean anymore. He's not. But all it was this gentleman was very abrasive naturally with how he spoke to people, without really care of how they feel. But serious conversation with the boss and saying, okay, let me think before I speak, Yeah. And it's the same person, same thing, same job, same operations, but just reframing how you speak. So interesting. Like I do business coaching, right? I have some clients on coaching, and especially like someone who has no business experience. Now they're getting into the business world and realizing how they speak determines an outcome a lot of the times, right? So for instance, instead of saying, well, I guess maybe kind of you could go there, it's more of a, oh, yeah, it goes there, that goes there, right? You're not being mean, but you're very matter of fact that, hey, this is what I expect, and that's how it works. Not maybe if you want, you could put it there, or maybe over there. Yeah, it's up to you.
Right.
That leaves the employee, the person like, oh, well, okay, what do I do? So that creates that there's that gap of miscommunication.
Right, and especially if whatever they end doing is not what you expected them to do.
Yes.
Then they're confused because then at some point they felt empowered, but then the decision that they made was not in accordance to the decision what was expected. So it's something that's interesting to me is how, like you mentioned, the change in directions of the question, but also showing curiosity. And not just only in the business world, but the fact that opening up conversations being open-ended instead of a yes or no answer can bring people in. And then even though what you want yes or no answer to understand or why this person didn't do that, then it'll give you understanding behind their action,
Their decision, right?
And then you're okay, I could see why you did that. Okay, next time we could redirect, right? Being a mom, kind of.
I was just going to say, parenthood should prepare a business owner, right?
Well, yeah, if people are inquisitive in their parenthood, right? But it's understanding the whys. And people, most of the time, they don't act a place of malicious, right? Or out of not wanting to do things.
Right.
Maybe they just don't have the right skill sets or tools to do it, or they just really didn't understand what the expectation was. But if we come, like you said, with an attitude of where they're not meeting what we wanted, that puts already a sour note on the conversation, and then it's harder to come back from that. Because
now they're shut down.
Right. There's a training that we have to do at work. It's called Critical Conversations. I want to have you, first of all, if that's the exact correct name and the author, but it talks about how conversations overall have different stages and how we can kind of structure our very tough conversations in a way where we bring down the tension from the beginning of the conversation by not approaching with I feel or just very heavy and accusatory statements.
Yeah.
But first stating facts that like both parties are in agreement, and then taking that into a place where like, okay, maybe we can improve here, improve there.
Right.
So that's a skill that in the corporate world where there's high tension meetings and decisions around for larger amounts of monies, right?
Right. And a lot more is on the line. A lot's on
Right,
the,
and more influence. That
Yeah.
skills like that are indispensable. I think somebody that can manage the way that they communicate can far exceed the influence and the outcome of people that maybe just know the numbers. I mean,
Right.
if you have the combination of the both,
Oh,
then
yeah. That's
But-
ultimate. Yeah, but
brings me to, I think that the hardest portion of having a business is the people aspect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Starting a business isn't about logos or luck. It's about building a foundation that lasts. The Business Accelerator Blueprint by BAM Ventures gives you a proven 5-step system to launch and scale in 90 days. From entity formation and branding to cash flow, systems, and growth, this blueprint takes you from scattered to streamlined. Don't guess your way through business. Build it the smart way. Call BAM Ventures at 432-247-8841 today and lock in your blueprint for success.
The BAM BizTalk podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Pachuco's Restaurant. Craving authentic and eclectic cuisine in Midland? Well, Pachuco's has you covered. Located in downtown Midland at the ever so legendary and iconic historic building at 316 North Big Spring Street, Pachuco's blends rich and unique flavors in a conveniently pleasant and vibrant atmosphere. Enjoy the highest quality barbecue, savory tacos, burgers, and a variety of other mouth-watering dishes that reflect the spirit of a true Pachuco cuisine. Real, authentic, and just plain different. Check out their menu at www.pachucos432.com or call 432-218-8806 to inquire, or better yet, just show up and get your shine on. At Pachucos, where heritage, exquisite taste, and hospitality come together for an unforgettable dining experience. Pachucos, Midland, Texas. Now back to the show.
Especially with 20 employees. That's significant.
That is.
Like a small team is 3, maybe 5. And that's that in itself dynamic, right? That's difficult to maneuver, right? A small group, but 20, right? 50, 100, right? Like there's a point. It's a number that the number you can keep in your head at the same time as a group is like 150.
That's a lot of people.
Right? But at the same time, think of these companies that have thousands of employees. You're not going to know.
Yeah.
But that's a trick, right? Because imagine you with 1,000 employees, how do you keep that culture?
Yeah, you would have to hire, the hiring process would
Yeah.
have to be that narrow down. And we are learning every day. We are improving processes every day with the feedback that we get from our employees. So we do things very differently than we did 3 years ago. And
I love
we're doing some things we did up at the beginning of the year.
I love that.
So it's not,
love
it's
that.
not stagnant.
Right. I love that because a business is a dynamic entity, right? It's literally a living, breathing thing, right? It's a baby.
It's a baby.
When you first have it, it's a
First
baby.
Yes.
Because you got to feed it, nurture it, cultivate it, make sure it's okay, make sure it's fed, and, bring it up, right?
Yes.
Very much in parenthood, right? So it's something that you really have to be intentional about. I used to work for Apple,
Okay.
right? And Apple has right? It's the Apple culture, right? And it came out straight from Steve Jobs. But it was intense, right? There's this like Apple mania thing that takes over. And at the same time, it was empowered on the individual. So we would have regular meetings. They would bus us to a certain place, and then we fill an auditorium, and then there's this huge presentation, and you get all rock concert, right? you know, and that creates this of community, right? Like, say you just go to whatever concert, music artist that you really like. Well, everybody else there really likes that musical artist, right? And it just creates this commonality.
Yes.
You know, so that's one way that a company, right? What you're doing is like you have those round tables you're talking about.
Right.
How often do you kind of?
We have, I don't know, just one of the pitfalls of having a business that I'm always on my phone and like my brain doesn't stop. So it's like almost second nature. I don't have it planned. I might just think, I want to check on so-and-so. I want to see how they're doing. I haven't heard from them for a while. And something that I've learned in business, both from the client side and from the employee side, is that you can never trust that because people are not telling something is wrong, that things are not happening.
So true. Yeah.
So be intentional with that, I think. So even if they're not telling me, my employees, that they're not feeling comfortable with something, I ask. Sometimes they would be maybe reluctant to tell me.
Right.
But having all your senses open to maybe side conversations or like, you just have to be alert.
A face that was made
Yeah.
real quick that they tried to hide.
Exactly. Or things that you hear. Employee force is always talking. And I know this because I work a corporate job. Like things in the day-to-day, right, that may bother them as little as it could be like, oh, well, we didn't know that we had to wipe the rail on the window. Okay, well, that's a pitfall on the SOP, right?
Right.
Well, people are having these questions around what we need to do here. Okay, maybe I'm not being clear on the way that I'm writing. It came down to the point that I'm so much on the corporate, like, let me write this 30-page document for people to read. The way that you adapt to your audience, right? Like, they're not going to sit down and read that.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
And they have told me that to my face.
Right.
Right. So like adapting that video form or something like, you know, understanding who your audience and then migrating whatever contents that you want to portray. So all that to say is, again, not because somebody's not telling you that something is happening. It's not happening. And the regular checks could be as soon as I remember, and I'm literally about everything, like work, and I don't try to get in their personal lives, but sometimes there's like my A player is not playing their A game.
Hey, what's going on at home? Is everything okay? How can I help?
Yes.
You know.
Just honestly, just comes down to feeling genuinely, just being a decent human being, right?
It's amazing how everything just comes down to that, right? Just be decent.
Be genuine, because if you're just putting a face,
they're going to know.
People are gonna know.
They're gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Yeah. So those are, you know. So before you had a business, like, what's your perception of what a business owner was or went through, and you know how business worked? And now that you're in the thick of it, how has your perception of business ownership changed?
Wow, I didn't think it was this hard. I admire people that can do this as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
It's consuming. Sometimes it's all consuming. If you don't have boundaries around, like, office, well, I can only answer to my phone from 8 to 9, and it's very different from like when you have a corporate job to where you live your company, right? So I admire people that pursue dreams of becoming an entrepreneur. And following their vision. I think people that have visions and stick to their visions and don't sell out for, I don't know, sometimes it's sometimes some other things are easier than what your real dream is, right?
Right.
I'm just of people that do this.
Yeah. Because it is not for...
It's not. And also another thing, going in business with a partner can be a blessing and a curse.
Yes. 100%.
Because conversations can turn quickly into all business. Relationships can be damaged with, you know, how tactical you are in the conversation. So I think like taking a time apart from the business, which I suffer from, I'm very much always trying to improve the business, reminding myself that those things can wait sometimes.
Yeah.
But overall, just just trying to learn from the people that have done it for longer and have accomplished great things. I'm like, how do they?
Right.
I'm like, I'm putting all this time and doing the research. I think sometimes I'm like, maybe I just go back and get an MBA. And then I'm like, okay, but if it's all technical and not work, then you won't know where the pain points are. And it's just a mix. You just need to a lot.
Research. Yeah, that's piece of
Yeah.
that I give a new coaching client is, okay, we're gonna do some research, right? You said a lot of great things in there. I'm gonna get back to in a minute. We're gonna side piece where you said you're always trying to improve. You're always thinking how to improve, right? But when when your business owner is your partner, right? Like, where are the lines? Like, you have to set those boundaries.
Yes.
Right? You have to put guardrails up. Like, so me, I'm so I can be here 24 hours a day, no problem, right? Probably just got to check in on my daughter, right? Once in a while, but I don't have any responsibilities to get back home and to be there. So for me, this I'm immersed. This is right. So I've had to put boundaries up for me, right? Like, I used to come in 7 days a week. Now I put up a boundary, like, I do not come in on Sundays unless it's absolutely necessary, right? Like, I have a deadline that I have to crush that's due Monday morning at 8. You know what I mean? Like, the going to college, studying all night, right? That kind of deal, right? But other than that, I don't come in on Sundays. Saturdays, I come in lax. I don't get here till 10. I'll leave early, like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Like, it's just come in to do a little housekeeping, touch up, catch up on some things that I let slip throughout the week. And even on Fridays, I'm a little lax. Hey, it's Friday, from Friday, just leave work early, like 5. And also, you're talking about the phone. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I have so many different focus modes on my phone. Like, I have a deep work, right? It's like, I'm
nobody
except my daughter. That's the only one that can get through if she needs to, right? That's it, right? Not even like I've closed myself off to the world. Then I have one that, hey, okay, now it's like partners and resource partners and people for work can contact me. I have a focus mode for that. And then I have a focus mode for where only like just allow family, right? Parents, sisters, cousins, whatever. They're able to
come into my time.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because you do have to protect that.
Yes.
Right? And that's something that is it's crucial for producing high quality work.
And I think when you're an entrepreneur, when you're in the corporate world, you have people setting expectations for yourself, which sometimes can be easier, right?
Right.
But when you're for yourself, you have to first understand that this takes a lot of work, right? And then set yourself up for success and be driven enough to meet those deadlines. Because one of the things that people don't tell you is that if you don't do it, then nobody else will. And then people go back and say, so-and-so, they were so lucky. But they don't know that so-and-so has been up in this game for 10, 15 years, putting 60 hours per week, no holidays, no this. And then all of a sudden, because you see another, now 10 years later, they're lucky, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I hadn't seen in before a business, right? The amount of work people will dedicate into making a vision come true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's essential that you like prioritize your agenda. Sometimes and my husband will keep me honest on this. He's very like A, then B, and then we that task together and then we finish the task. I'm like, okay, we change here and then this brings me to an idea that I'm here and I don't finish anything. So
that's
I
me.
think
That's me too.
Keeping organized and having a method and understanding, not because it's my husband, but that every team has different personalities and different aspects that people thrive in. When you understand those and empower them to make the decisions that maybe you wouldn't be the best person to think, that just like exponentially grows your business. We understood that my husband and I cannot work together at the same time. Like we cannot sit down at the computer at the same time because then I'm doing this
everywhere. And he's trying.
He's like, I'm lost. What you have 60 tabs open on your browser. He's like, I thought we were here to send an invoice, right? So I'm like, no, man. Anyways, so we determined that I'm very good at the customer nourishing and them face to face, right? I take front of that. But when it comes to closing the month's financials and to bringing all the things into QuickBooks and into, sending all the invoices at night, he thrives in that.
Right.
When we were doing it all merged together, first it created confusion on, okay, but I thought you were doing that. And why haven't you done that? So there were not clear expectations.
Right.
And then we were getting mad at each other. And then we weren't we weren't understanding what each other's strengths were.
Yeah.
That's in the case of my husband and I owning the business. But when you can understand that you're a team, and then use all these assets that you have, that changes things. You would only know that if you intentionally make it a point to understand who your team is.
So true. Yeah.
So I thought for a long time, team building activities were just like corporate crap.
Just
right?
having fun.
But if you do good team building opportunities, you can find out all these little traits hidden on the way that people speak or the way that people, lean or anyways.
All sorts of cues.
Right.
Yeah.
And then those are all resources that people with a lot more knowledge into the psychic and all the soft skills and all sorts of studies that they have created, like the e-colors and
the personality
tests.
situation,
all the things. So if you can bring that into your team and understanding who you have as your assets, then that would.
Yeah, because then you put them to work to where they work the best together, right?
Right.
And they're understanding who they're working alongside, because they have to trust who they're working with to do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And you are responsible for doing what you're supposed to do, right?
Exactly.
So the dynamic between, you and your husband, when you're going through this at the beginning, you're figuring out, like, okay, we just can't do this at the same time.
Yeah, no.
Right? You do what you do, and I'm going to do what I do over here, right? And it works.
And that took us a while to understand. I want to say that took us 2 years to understand.
Ah.
And, but if you don't get down to the difficult conversations, then those were, I was feeling extremely exhausted because I felt like I was the only one that was doing things. But it was because, first of all, so I wasn't setting clear expectations on the timeline. My timeline is always now, do it now, right? Because that's when I would do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, poor my husband when he listens to this, but sometimes he'll be like, well, I'll do it. I didn't get a timeline, so I'll do it when I get to it, right?
Yeah.
And then especially if like, okay, let's do this now. And then I'm like all over the place. We couldn't get to the end goal, right?
Yeah.
So when we understood the strengths again and timelines, and I just let him do his thing now. I empowered him to do it. I said, whatever you do, I'm going to trust that that's
right.
Like,
yeah,
that is your responsibility.
Yes.
And then I'll just do what I can do best. And it has worked very well.
Good. And that translates to your personal.
Right.
Right. Because now when y'all are away from personal, you're husband and wife, you're a family. Right. And that's it.
Right.
Though your head's probably still like, okay, you could probably improve that. So now constantly improving.
Right.
Right. Like when you first started, you got a job. Yeah. Go clean that house. Right.
One input, one output, one house, one person.
Simple.
Done. Yes.
Simple. Right. Okay. But then 5, you get 10 employees.
Right.
Then it gets a little complicated. Right. Or how do you keep who's where for what, who's good at cleaning what type of job is it?
Yes.
Is it, is it a business? Is it a house? It's way out in the middle of nowhere. So
where were they before? Yes. So right now we manage everything through a CRM that, I don't know if I can mention the name here, it's called Household Pro. And it keeps all your clients, all your employees, and it maps where your jobs are. It gives you kind of like cues or where you can go. Where we're at right now, it's because we've now have all these data from working with the CRM that we want to use that data to understand better our processes. So there's a methodology called Lean Sigma,
Yeah.
which tries to identify the waste in the processes that you do.
Right. Oh, I love this engineer topic.
So now that we've been doing and collecting data for consistently for at least 2 years, the idea is now, okay, how do we optimize and get things in the right times and measure, okay, how long does it take? Simple task. How long does it take for us to put together a bag for a cleaning? Where's the downfall? Are the processes where our cleaning products located in our storage unit not optimized? So where they need to go here and then go here. Where am I not setting it like this? Well, that takes a lot of time to understand.
Yeah.
And that's where we want to go next. Kind of like step by step on our processes and our environments. So we can optimize.
Yeah. Nah, I'm serious when I say you're putting on a masterclass, right? So this is literally how a business grows into optimization.
Right.
Right? Because you start off like, throw spaghetti at the wall. Does that work? Okay, it works. Great. Let's go that direction.
Right.
But then it gets complicated, and then you start making little adjustments, and it's constant adjustments. I must my website like 5 times in the last month. Like, no lie, right? I made so many updates. I'm just making updates today, right? So like it's constantly being tweaked, right? Okay, that worked. Let's do that again. All right, that's working really good. What else? How can I make that work better, right? Testing, like you find out what does work, what doesn't work, go with the one that works. Even if it's slightly better, you go that direction, right? And you're doing it scientifically, right? It's not, okay, so pivot, I think, is like kind of an overused word in the business. Overused, right? But what you're doing is constantly pivoting, right? So I like either if you're a plane when you're LA to New York, it's not just a straight shot.
Right.
It's constant adjustment. Constantly. The Nava computer is, I don't know what they call it, but it sounds good, right? Navigating computer. It's constantly making adjustments. I think that's a Star Wars term.
Like production, can you check that fact?
Right? This is doing a hyperspace. But it's just like a business. Constantly adjusting. A ship sailing across.
Yeah, and if you're off by 1 degree at the beginning,
yes,
you can end miles and miles from where you originally thought you were going.
Right.
So if you don't redirect, if you don't pivot,
you're gonna end up off course.
Right. And I think a lot of business owners, I've known of business owners that have been in their positions for a long time and that has worked for a while. It comes to the point that things are not working the same, or they're not being as efficient, and ego gets in the way of pivoting.
Yeah.
I think, again, staying curious. I think curiosity just about your business and about what's working and not can save you a headache. 100%. And just coming from a place of humility. I think luckily, because we knew that we didn't know anything when we started, we weren't like, it shall be done this way, because we're not in the operations every day. It gives us a perspective where we're not so set in the time,
right? Because
we rely on the feedback from both the client and their customers to make sure that we're doing it
right. Yeah. No, 100%. I think that's very important to business owners, who want to be a business owner, to understand that, because you have your goal, you have your vision. And if you are set in your ways of how you're going to get there, right? If you can be rigid to the process, but listening to all aspects. You said earlier, have all your senses open.
Right.
That's what it is, because to your customers, right? Listening to your employees, listening to the market.
Listening to yourself.
I
don't know. I'm like looking, maybe we're short on time, but no. When you start understanding from experience, like your gut feeling will save you some headaches.
And ignoring that.
Oh, it will get you in trouble.
You get in trouble.
Yes. So the more in tune you are and confident that you become in the position. I mean, it could just be confident in the fact that you will put the extra mile. Like, it doesn't have to be confident in all the things that you do, right? But confident enough that you're willing to do the work for the company you're owning, will give you that instant. And coming back to the question of how do I employ, I rely heavily on my instinct. You have to.
Yeah.
Because if that person is going to give you already the first impression and
Believe them.
yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back, but I remember recently I got a person that wanted a job and they called me 25 times back to back. I'm talking the span of 10 minutes.
Oh, no.
I said, yeah, no. Instinct, no. I just don't have time to deal with that.
No.
Yes.
I have a resource partner. I can say what service, but every once in a while, I'll get a call and he'll call twice back to back, right? I'm like, like, I'm not reaching out to you now if I have work for you, That just, it's creepy, right? It's gonna,
yes.
That's boundaries there, right? You're making me feel uncomfortable. 25 times in 10 minutes.
Yes. I mean, I understand that the job market is kind of tough right now and everybody, but back to the culture, that's just not, I need people to be.
Yeah. I heard something recently. It's, you have to be confident enough to be okay with looking foolish with your decision, right? Like, doesn't mean you are foolish for it, but you have to have the confidence to be like, okay, this could end up bad.
Yes.
I could end up looking like a fool, but I feel, right? I have in myself now, that's what I should be doing. That's, I'm going to go that direction. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because listening to ourselves, like you were saying, like, a quick story, the Spanish-American War, right? There, all these double agents and spies. It was huge at that time, right?
Yeah.
Well, the rebels, they had this would vet people wanting to join the cause. And he was mostly right, except the one time where it was neutral, right? It wasn't an obvious, no, kick the guy out of here, right? Or it wasn't obvious, yeah, get him in. It was like he couldn't tell. It was that funny feeling of, I can't read you. Well, he ended up accepting the guy. And that's the guy who got
ended the war.
Ended the war. Right.
Yeah.
So listening to yourself, right? What do you do? Have you read, there's this book, Malcolm Gladwell, it's called Blink.
Okay.
So the whole premise of this book is that your first thought when you're confronted with any situation, no matter how information you think you have or not, that instant intuitive thought that pops in your head, that's like 90-something% the correct answer, right? What is that, right? This book says that it's all your senses completely open and doing a full analysis, right? Without you not your conscious,
right?
But it's your behind the scenes, your subconscious, your intuition that uses everything, right? Your eyes, smell, ears, your spidey senses.
Yeah.
Like, and it takes all of that real quick and gives you an answer, right? We're like bio computers, right? Bio quantum computers.
And the time thereafter is you trying to convince yourself otherwise.
Yes,
right?
100%, right? And you're going back and forth, right? You know the answer, but you're trying to justify it another way or justify something else because it looks better, or now your monkey bean is coming in. That's where we should go,
right?
But really, it's right there, So, like you nailed it. Listening to yourself is like the hardest thing to do, right? Because your employees are saying something, your clients are saying something, the market. Like right now, it's all crazy. The tariff wars going on.
Yeah.
We're like, what do we do? What are things going to be like tomorrow? Because it wasn't the same as it was yesterday. And nobody knows.
Right.
We're hoping that it comes out okay, right? More than likely, we always end up on our feet, right? So, but we're worried about today. We're worried tomorrow, like immediate, like we can only go so long without eating.
True.
Right? Without water, so we have to keep rolling. We got to keep going. So the uncertainty in things, it makes it harder, and you forget that you have a voice. you forget that you have all the answers, right? And that's why, like the process. It's not the process. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's the, well, I guess the torture you put yourself through, right? In questioning back and forth,
Right.
And then you come to a final decision, and is that decision the right decision or not?
Right.
And you gotta be willing to look like a fool.
And that's a good thing about this. One thing that I've enjoyed about being a business owner is the empowerment of the decisions I can make. Mm-hmm. Even if they're bad decisions, then I could be like, I could own the decision. And that carries some weight, right? One of the things that I've discovered in this journey of entrepreneurship is that we sell ourselves short over and over and over. And coming into this town where, again, I came 6 years ago, and it seems like everything was so established and that things were already, that places already had the cleaning companies that they were going to have, or that people already knew each other and you were just coming in an outsider. Right. The power of building the relationship first, earning the trust, and then knowing that you can do that through this, providing a good service and all the things that you can build. It has been so good to know that that's something that you can achieve. Coming from a big city, before moving here, I lived in California, Orange County. I've never would have thought that was prime ground for me to start a business. Neither I feel competent enough to start a new business. I didn't know if there were resources to start a new business there. Coming here and understanding that there's so many opportunities because this is fertile ground. Midland is growing. From the moment I came here to now, there's been so many things that are new.
Right.
And to feel empowered that you can do that within this community, and knowing that there's places that will aid you to walk the walk and right. And then though we sell ourselves short, there's a community here that will tell that you can do that, you can power through, you can do the research, not just blindly because people say, yeah, do it.
Right.
But this is how you do it. And ultimately that you can do something in the community, right? Because it's not, just have a business to have business, right? You can do through the business to help where we're living. So that's kind of what Midland, Odessa, and the Permian have to offer for people that are willing to take the risk is to understand that you can do it.
You can.
Right? And I've never, again, thought this would be something that would be in my veins, right? But every time I'm like, this city needs, and then my husband's like, don't stop. We don't need anything else.
Say it out loud.
But that you can, and that's here that will walk along you, and that there's people that have done it a million times and have done it well, and maybe some others that have lessons from where it didn't go so well, right?
Yeah.
And that people are willing to share that. I didn't feel that in other cities.
And that is very true, right? Here, they're very supportive of the cultures. It's a wildcatter, right? Literally, spending, you hear there's stories all over, people spending their last dollar to drill just that last well, right? Go those last couple 100 feet, right? They're selling their kids,
their kids,
their kids, right? Just to happen, and sometimes it happens, and it happens a lot, right? So that wildcatter mentality is the risk taking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with a business owner, right? Your risk tolerance,
right?
So myself personally, I have a lot of tolerance for risk, right? But others not so much, right? It's the risk is too much, not even going to try, right? So it is and that's the reason why business is not for everybody, right? But in that context right there, in Odessa, that's the reason why we're expanding so much, right? That's why, there's the oil and gas foundation, but now we have space, the commercialization of space industry. It's one of the largest in the nation, if not head to neck with Florida. It's Florida and West Texas, right? The state of Florida, West Texas, right? like we're massive here, right? We have infrastructure, we have the skill set, we have engineers, we have labor force that's doing hard labor, right?
Right.
And the supply chain and everything's here, right? So the only thing we need to upgrade electrical, right?
We do.
That's a huge thing. But now data centers coming in, right? That's going to create other problems, right? But I think they're problems that, here's how I like to create, can solve them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if that was a problem, I could solve that and that would level me up, right? Like, so same kind of thing. We have a problem. The electrical grid is already old and needs complete overhaul. Oh, now we're going to get some data centers in to take up how much juice?
You're like, pick me.
Well, so we're going to have to upgrade our grid, right? We have to. Well, how about the water, right? Because we already have a problem with water because we're kind of in the desert,
Yeah.
you know? So that's why there's trucking companies that haul water all day long, right? Like, okay, that works for what we've had. Are we going to need something else?
Yeah.
You know, especially with these data centers and AI coming and emerging technology and everything's
yeah, we're about to enter a whole new era.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what's to come to this space. The good thing again, because I feel like sometimes the risk here that is like posed to people that have like side businesses is that maybe you have your main stream of income that you feel like satisfies your main needs, right?
Yeah.
And then you have some wiggle room here to invest in the future of the city, right?
Mm.
And that's allowed because of the oil and gas,
Right.
market here, and that it pays differently than a lot of other spaces doing the same job elsewhere, right?
Right.
So I feel like that allows people to be a little bit more risky when it comes to making decisions about business. So
for sure. Now, I think that we'll overcome it, but a big one is the local economy investing itself back into the local economy with new ideas outside of the oil field, right? Like the bad word diversification, right? We need that, right? We need diversification, but I think it's happening. Like there's a culture starting, really, really going here now.
Well, I think the past 2 years, just the amount of business diversity that I've seen, and then the projects that are planned for the city. I mean, Costco came here. We thought that was
The largest,
especially after COVID. Like we thought that was going to be on hold, right? And then we're going to have a new project here at Stonebridge, right here by Spring and the Loop. They're going to like new shopping commercial center, and it's going to bring. It's just, I feel like the city is changing, not only how it looks, but the way people are interacting with the city.
It's definitely changing, right? And that's something I look forward to. And like the entire Permian Basin, we're going through a culture, right? Because now you're getting all kinds of like arts, right? Like there's all kinds of arts things popping up.
Right.
Arts becoming a thing. Live music.
Oh, I hope. Yeah.
When I first moved here, the only live music was cover band playing Leonard Skinner.
Okay.
And AC/DC and some Metallica, right? And then maybe some Tejano and some country, right? Like Garth Brooks and Emilio Navaita. They it was just cover, right? Just bands, guys getting together and going out somewhere and just playing cover songs. But now there's performing, there's and they're like a trio from here, and they blew up, right? All original, right? So there's other artists in town that are also original artists, and they're making waves.
I think the city is catering to different lifestyles now, rather just your traditional person that's coming here to do oil and gas.
Right.
Like I've seen the amount of new businesses investing in health.
Yeah.
All kinds of like new green juice bars and acai bowls and
Yes.
IV like drip bars that I'm seeing, like just the amount of more care that we're putting into becoming more healthy. That wasn't here when I
Right.
living here. What else have you seen? Oh, just as far as entertainment, just venues, restaurants.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel happy that there's like more life
Yes.
in the city.
100%. 100%.
And that is good for us entrepreneurs.
It's good for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. But people that have ideas.
Right.
And then it seems like the city is to receive the ideas that people have. So
100%.
I wouldn't pick another city to have started this life.
I agree. And well, it's been a great conversation.
It has.
Thank you for putting on the masterclass for us here.
Oh,
one more thing.
Teacher here. You're the Jedi.
one more question. So listeners who are here at the end of our podcast, thank you. Thank you for sticking along.
Thank you.
I'm sure y'all are entertained and have learned something. I know I did, right? So do you have some parting words, something to leave behind for our listeners?
Parting words. I think surround yourself with people that believe in the vision. I think a lot of people will doubt. A lot of people don't understand the stamina that you have and maybe the vision that you're going through. And if you don't surround yourself with the right person, sometimes it's easy to doubt. And again, sell yourself short. So, but don't do it blindly. Like, I'm just going to surround myself with people like, yes, people. People that are willing to invest the dream and point you to the right resources. Because the dreams only go so far if you don't have good planning and good action. So, again, just surround yourself with right resources, people that will leverage, and experts. Again, experts in what people do. You may be the dreamer. You may know that you have a skill with people like myself. But maybe I'm not the best with numbers. I'm not the best with the social media. Build your own team and then chase the vision with intention. Yeah, so that's a
quote.
What I have.
Chase the vision. I love it. Thank you
so
so much. How can people follow you on social media? Where do they find you?
So they find me on Instagram at tidyup_Midland. They can find us on just online through Google at tidyupmidland.com. That's where we're at.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations on your success and much luck to future success.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. On the next time. See you soon.
Bye-bye.